Sure got quiet in here. Good afternoon, everybody. Going to get started with today's sale. We're going to go through kind of an abbreviated version of the rules today. We don't have a lot of complicated property today. We'll discuss specifics about properties as they come up. How many of you have not been to one of these sales before? You're kind of new at this. We're going to go through the rules and regulations a little bit, give you a few tips and hints so that you don't make any mistakes today, at least ones that weren't intentional. In order to bid today, you have to have a valid photo ID to prove who you are, or in some situations may not be. You have to be registered prior to bidding. Everybody has one of those yellow bid cards. If you see somebody in a bid that has a blue bid card, that means they got here late and we may need to verify some information with them as to some of the rules that we're going to be talking about before the sale. When you bid today, you're accepting the rules of the sale. They're listed in detail in everybody's sale book. We hid them on the page that says rules and regulations. Take a look at those before we sell the property that you're interested in. You're bound by those rules when you bid today. These properties have been through a judicial foreclosure process. There is no right of redemption left for anybody that had an interest in these properties. Their right to keep their interest in the property expired if they did not pay the taxes by April the 2nd of this year. We have gone and gotten a judicial order, a court order from the Circuit Court for Kent County that voids everything that you see listed on that screen right there. Anybody that had an interest under a deed or a land contract, those interests have been cleared off title. Mortgages, security agreements, construction liens, IRS and other tax liens, liens of utilities, private and public, condo and property owner association fees, anything of that nature has been voided by an order of the Circuit Court effective the end of day on April the 2nd, 2018. Some things are not affected by tax foreclosure, and if you buy a piece of property today, if any of the things on this screen applied before, they still apply now. They include easements. If there's an easement over the property or to the property, it is still in place. If the mineral rights have been retained by a former owner, if they have been severed and sold to a third party, they're still split off. The rule of thumb is if the former owner of the property had the mineral rights, you get them today. If they didn't, you don't. If the property is in a condominium or a homeowners or property owners association, their master deed or other covenants, restrictions, and association fees do still apply. Everything sold today is subject to the zoning, local ordinance, and building codes in the jurisdiction where it's located. I don't think we've got any property today with crops on it, so we're going to skip that one. What you're buying today is the land listed in the book that you see in your hands. Every description has the phrase legal description in it. You are buying the property that is described between the words legal description and the word comment. That's what you're buying today. You're not buying by address, you're not buying by photograph or by other description. You're buying the legal description of the piece of land listed in the book that you've got. Everything sold as is, where is, no guarantees, warranties, or representations made of any kind. We assume that you know what you're buying today. The ones we sell today that might be dated prior to the middle 1980s can and probably do have lead-based paint. Many of these properties can be here on purpose. You can have situations where property has no road access. We have 3 or 4 of those in the list today. They can have bad roofs, frozen plumbing, bad foundations, bad water and sewer lines, asbestos, infestations of all kinds, you name it, no extra charge. Please know what you're bidding on. There are no refunds. When you buy it today, it's yours. We expect you to pay for what you bid on here today, and there are no refunds. When we sell the property, here's how we do it. Here's the mechanics of the sale. Everybody's got a copy of the book. You went through the registration line out there, and then you went to another clerk and told them what you were here to bid on. I've got 4 pieces that have a lot of attention in this book. We're going to sell those 4 pieces first so that most of you can get on out of here. There's no sense in making somebody wait till the end of the book. Today it's not such a big deal because we got 20 or 30 properties. Sometimes we have hundreds, and we'll have something at the end of the book. Rather than making 40 people wait for it, we move the popular ones to the beginning. Today I've got 4 pieces that meet that description. We're going to sell those 4 first. Then we're going to go back to the beginning of the book, sell what's left in the order that they're listed. We're going to skip the properties that nobody seems to be interested in. I've got 3 properties that I have no bids online. Nobody in the room has indicated any interest in them. We're going to skip those rather than trying to sell them to you. We will ask before we do skip it to see if anybody has changed their mind. You're going to see a number in your book that says minimum bid. That is where the auction begins if I don't have any online bids already. The minimum bid is a computation of what that piece of property owes the county. At one time, all of these properties were taxed by a city, a village, or a township. The taxes went unpaid. The county stepped in and bought the delinquent tax accounts so that the local units of government could have their money to keep operating. The county basically plays banker here. What we're doing today is trying to get that money back. So that minimum bid amount is what that piece of property owes the county treasurer. The bidding starts there unless I have a higher bid online. On a couple of properties today, I've already got a dozen bids. So if I've got a dozen bids already, we're going to start out at the highest competing online bid, then come into the room. Once the bidding is started with either the minimum bid number or a higher bid if I've got one online, then we increase the bidding by the numbers you see on the screen. Until we get to $1,000, the bid goes up at least $50 at a time in round numbers. $350, $400, $450, $500. Between $1,000 and $10,000, it increases at least $100 at a time. $1,400, $1,500, $1,600. No dollar bids, no weird numbers, no lucky combinations. Between $10,000 and the sky's the limit, it goes up at least $250 at a time. There will be people bidding online, live bidding. They can only go up 1 increment at a time. You guys here in the room can do something else that's called jumping the bid. Let's say that I've got a piece of property that I've got opened up at $2,000 and you want it really bad and you're in a hurry because you have to have your nails done. You can stand up and shout out $80,000. That's called jumping the bid. Feel free to do it. The people online, again, can only go up 1 bid increment at a time. You can go up as high as you want to if you feel like it. This is important information here. If you're brand new to this sale, some of you in this room may not be eligible to buy. There is state law that says I cannot sell you property today if you have any other property in Kent County with winter 2017 or prior year's taxes delinquent. If you have any association with any other property with unpaid taxes, I can't sell to you today. You can't bid, you can't write the check to pay for it, you can't be listed on the deed. You can't have anything to do with the sale today if you have any fingerprints on any other property that has delinquent taxes. This includes property you co-own with somebody else, even if it's not your personal obligation to pay the taxes. It includes property held under DBA and business names, and very importantly, it holds true as to property that you have a deed interest in, even if it has been sold to a third party on a land contract, and it's their obligation to pay the taxes. If you hold the deed and they're delinquent, you can't bid today. There's a criminal penalty involved here. Please pay attention later on when we get to that portion. We do have several ways for people to bid here today. We have you guys here in the audience. You can use that bid card, just hold it up in the air. We turn the lights down a little bit so you can see the screen a little better. Please make sure to use that card. It's a whole lot easier for us to see if you do. We have bids that have been placed in advance of the sale. There are 32 of them. I have a list of them in front of me. I know how high they'll go and on which pieces they're on. We also have people bidding live online. This bidding, the advanced bidding, closed this morning at 11 o'clock. Other people are watching the sale on a camera with a microphone built in right in the front of the room on a tripod. They can bid against you in real time. I'd remind those people, please do not use the audio and video feed as your frame of reference for what's happening in the room. You might be bidding on a piece of property we sold 2 minutes ago. Please use the text on your screen for a better reference of what's happening in the room at the time. Your bid today is a legally binding contract. Any bid not received when we say sold is deemed as not being offered at all. If you win today, you have to pay today. This sale is not going to take long. I bet we're done not long after 1 o'clock. You have to pay in full today within about 30 minutes of the time that the sale is over. When the last person is checked out, we're gonna look around, and if we don't see anybody, the lids go on the boxes and we're going fishing. We're not gonna wait till 4 o'clock for you to get back to pay. If you can't pay in full today within a very short period of time after the sale's over, you shouldn't be bidding. The first $1,000 you give us today should be paid by certified funds. If you read the rules, that's what the requirement is. That's a check drawn on a bank. It's called a cashier's check sometimes, or a certified funds check, and that is a non-refundable deposit. That's the first $1,000 of your purchase. Anything over and above that we will take by personal or business check, by money orders, credit card, or additional cashier's checks. We accept Visa, MasterCard, and Discover cards only. If your check bounces, that first $1,000 goes into the Kent County Treasurer's Christmas Party Fund. You don't get the money back, and you don't get the property. We don't take cash anymore. We used to take cash, too many problems. We had people lose money at the sale, and we've also had people give us money that wasn't real. We don't want to do that anymore. What are you going to pay? Here's how the numbers work. If you win something today, here's the math. There's going to be a final bid price that's arrived at here in the room. There are 3 additions to the final bid price. First of all, there's a 10% buyer premium. That's the cost of the auction. $30 is what it costs in Michigan to record a deed. Your deed is going to be executed by the county treasurer's office, taken over to the register of deeds. They're going to make a copy of it and put it on the permanent file in the county records. Then it's going to be mailed back to you. That process takes 6 to 8 weeks, depending on the flow of traffic through the register of deeds office. Also, courtesy of your Michigan legislature, you get to pay the summer tax bill for the property that you bought today. Every description at the end of it has the summer tax amount that's due. That's going to be collected and remitted to the local unit of government, the city, village, or township, on your behalf today. So, if you're calculating what you owe today, it's the final bid price plus 10% plus $30 plus the summer tax. That's what we're going to collect when you leave today. If you're using a credit card, there's a 2.75% surcharge for whatever amount you put on the card. We're going to basically pass that fee along to you as well. If you're not using a credit card, you don't have to worry about that 2.75%. When it's time to check out, please let the bidder, the clerks out there know if you need to leave the building for some reason. If you need to make a quick trip to the bank or whatever, let them know what your bidder number is and how long it's going to take for you to come back. Most of you, or many of you, have already given us online the information about the names you want listed on the deed to the property that you buy today. If you've not done that on the website, there's a form in the back of your book. It says deed information on it. You're going to be listing the full legal names, the way they appear on other important documents or driver's licenses, of the persons that you want listed on the deed to the property when you get it in the mail. 2 important points here. First of all, please use full legal names. Don't use nicknames. We want the name that you have on your other important documents. Second of all, if you're putting a name on that form and it's somebody that is not here with you today, I would call them and make sure they don't have any delinquent taxes. If they do, your sale could be canceled. If you're buying property today and you're putting a name on that deed with you and it's somebody that you're not married to, the law requires us to list the form of tenancy. What happens if one of the owners of the property dies? If you're taking title with a relative or a friend or a business partner and one of you passes away, what happens to that person's ownership in the property? Does it pass directly to their heirs or does it pass to the surviving co-owner? You have to pick one of those options out. If you're buying with somebody else today, the explanations for that are also listed in the book near that deed information form. When you leave here today, you're not going to be leaving with a deed, you're going to be leaving with a receipt. Your deed has not been created or recorded yet. You're going to get that back in the mail. You're going to be leaving with a receipt. It's a copy of your contract of today's sale. It's a very important document until you do have the deed. It spells out our agreement, and it has some points that I want to mention to you now so that it's not a mystery when you get out there to the checkout table. First of all, they're going to print out a copy of the receipt and they're going to give it to you to take a good look at. Please check the spelling of your name, the address that we have listed for you, the 4-digit number from the left-hand column in the sale book to identify which property you bought, and all of the math. Look all of that over very carefully. If it's wrong on the receipt, Something got fat fingered and it's going to mess up the process. Let's make sure that it's correct before you initial it. You're going to be agreeing to the terms of sale when you initial it in another spot, agreeing that you're bound by the rules and regulations, the things we're talking about now. You're agreeing that you're buying the property as is in all respects, and you've had the opportunity to inspect it even if you didn't. Finally, we're going to be selling some property today that's vacant land and unoccupied buildings. We should tell you, and this is a clarification we need to make, you are buying the property today. You are not the owner of the property under state law until the deed has been recorded and mailed back to you and you are in physical receipt of it. Until that time, you are not the owner of the land. You're the buyer of the land, just like you're waiting for a deal to close. That's what the state law says. It very specifically says that if we discover a reason between today and the delivery of the deed that we did not have the legal authority to sell the land, as an example, protection by a bankruptcy court we were unaware of, somebody had a legal guardian that we were unaware of, if there's a legal reason that we could not sell this property today, the sale will be canceled and what you get back is what you paid today and only what you paid today. We should tell you that if you buy something today, you should not take possession until you have the deed. We could tell you that. We could make you agree to that in writing and take a blood oath and a pinky promise, and you're going to be in there by 4 o'clock today anyway, because that's how this works. We've been doing this a long time. So, just to get around that, we're going to make an agreement with you as part of your checkout process today. We are giving you limited possession today for the purposes of inspection, security, and maintenance only. If it's vacant land or an unoccupied building, you have our permission to enter, change the locks, secure it, exercise possession and ownership type control, but you do not have the authority to start making improvements or tearing it apart or moving in. In exchange for that, you're indemnifying the seller for injury, loss, or damage between now and the time that you get the deed. Do not make major investments in the property. If you have remodeling plans for something you're buying today, wait until you have the deed to start spending that money. Because if your sale has to be canceled, it happens very, very seldom, but if it does, what you get back is only what you paid today, and you're agreeing to that in writing as part of your contract when you check out. We mentioned earlier that you cannot buy property at today's sale if you have any other delinquent taxes. There's a criminal penalty for even trying to do so. As the final part of your checkout process today, you're going to be talking to the clerks out there, and they are notary publics in the state of Michigan. A notary public is a witness that is authorized by the state to hear testimony. You're going to be making what's called a sworn statement to a notary public. Your sworn statement is that you have no delinquent taxes. If you fib to them, it's not a little white lie. It's not an oops, I forgot. They have a word for misrepresenting your status in front of a notary public, and the word is perjury. Perjury in Michigan is a felony. So if you have delinquent taxes, please just don't bid today. If you do bid anyway, and we discover that you have delinquent taxes and you misrepresented your status, your sale is going to be canceled, your file will be sent to the prosecuting attorney's office, and we're going to be done with it at that point. So please just don't bid on it today if you have any association with delinquent taxes. If you do have something in the back of your mind, you might want to go out and call the treasurer's office on the phone. They could double check. They could even take your payment over the phone. This is a form in the very back of your book that you can use within the next 45 days. You have to send this in to the city, the village, or the township where the property that you buy is located. It's the Michigan Property Transfer Affidavit. This is a form that essentially tells the local assessor the property has been sold. It's time for them to reassess its value for purposes of taxation. You have 45 days to send it in. If you don't send it in, they can assess you a fine of up to $200. Fill out the top. It's all common sense stuff. You're buying from the Kent County Treasurer. Use today's date and use the sale amount, not the total. Don't include the fees. Keep that number as low as you can keep it. There's a whole bunch of boxes there that are labeled as exemptions. Do not check any of those. They don't apply. I'm not going to dwell too much on the topic of title insurance, except to say that there are local companies that can get it for you. Betts Title, also known as Sun Title, right here in Grand Rapids is one. They know this market well. You could go there. First American has an office in Detroit that specifically deals in tax-reverted property, as does Tax-sale.info. The Devon Title Agency has offices all over the place. S&P Title Agency is up more toward the middle of the state. They will insure property statewide. If you're new at this, April the 3rd is a very important date for you. Should you hear from somebody after today's sale that claims they have some sort of interest in this property and they want to know what you're doing there, if their interest existed before that date on your screen, you can ask them what they're doing there. The judge has voided all title interests, all security interests in this property, effective April the 3rd. If you hear from anybody that has a claim about or against this property, the first thing you should ask them is, when did it arise? If it's from before that date, it's already gone. We already talked about possession. We're giving you possession as of today's sale for the purposes of maintenance, security, and inspection only. If you buy something today and it's got somebody in it, and we may have, I think we've got one of these. If you buy something today and it's occupied, if you don't know who that person is, please exercise caution. We've never had anybody get themselves in a bad situation so far. We don't want you to be the first. Our advice to you, if you're not sure who is in a property, is go talk to the neighbors. Every piece of property has somebody that's within eyeshot of it that knows what's going on there, may know why it was lost, but they probably at a minimum know a name or a phone number of who's there, and they should be able to give you some kind of relation as to whether or not the people are approachable. So please exercise caution if you're buying a property that's occupied. What we're selling you today is the property that's listed in the book that you got in your hands. You are buying a piece of land and whatever is physically attached to it. You're buying buildings, septic tanks, driveways, the furnace, and the water heater. I cannot sell you the Culligan Man's water softener. If we don't own it, we can't sell it to you. That also extends to other things that are called personal property. I think my screen is slipping at me. Things like boats, motorcycles, cars, RVs, appliances, furniture, clothing, inventory. If there's anything in or on the property that can be removed without the use of tools, carried away, hauled away, if it's ever had wheels under it or ever had a title to it, it's not part of today's sale. We don't own it, we can't sell it to you, we can't even give it to you. If you find something on property today that is of value, please make an effort to find the former occupants or owner of the property. Ask them whether they intend to abandon it, whether they want it back, make some arrangements, give them an opportunity to come and get their stuff, maybe just keep yourself out of a jam. I don't know whether or not we have any mobile, modular, or manufactured housing today, but if we do, those sometimes have had separate titles held by third parties, and we cannot warrant the title to those units. We're going to get ready to start selling here pretty quick. When we do, this is just like riding a teeter-totter. We're going to start out at the minimum bid listed in the book, or a higher number if I already have an online bid. Then I'm going to come into this room and find two people that want to bid, just like riding that seesaw. Back and forth between two people till somebody slows way down. Then I'm going to go look for somebody else. When I'm out of bidders in the room, I've got one person in the room that's my high bidder. Then I'm going to come back and see if the people online watching on that camera want to keep on going. Carrie, who is typically over there, but I think at the moment he's invisible or in the bathroom, will be bidding for the people online. Tips if you're brand new at this. First of all, when you're done today, you got or didn't get what you came for and you're ready to go, do not leave your card on your chair. You might be getting a call this afternoon about the 4 pieces of property you bought that you don't know anything about. If you've got a cell phone with you, please put it on silent or vibrate. If you have anybody with you that you need to have a loud discussion with, please take it outside. We need to be able to hear in here. It's easier if we don't have 10 side conversations going on. If you make a mistake, if you bid on the wrong property, and people do that all the time, let me know as soon as you realize you've made the mistake. Don't wait till the sale is over to want to be let out of a bid. Yeah, I can still sell it while the other bidder is still in the room. Please be considerate of everybody else here, and we will be considerate of you. When we say a piece of property is sold, it is. Don't wait till the absolute last second to bid for the first time. Some people do that thinking that they're gonna save money. I have news for you. It works because you won't be buying anything here today. If you want to bid on something, I am not an auctioneer. I do not do the yabba dabba do. I'm not selling any cattle in here today. I'm not here to entertain anybody. I'm here to sell property and make sure that you know what the bid is. I'm going to be pointing at the high bidder, making eye contact with them and saying, going once, going twice, sold. When we say it's sold, it is. When I say going once, if you want to bid on that property and haven't done so yet, you better have that card in the air. When I say going twice, if I've not recognized you, you need to call out. You need to get my attention, because when we say sold, it is. Anybody got a question? Way in the back.
Unless you start at the minimum bid, if nobody bids at that, you ever go down?
No, we cannot take anything less than the minimum bid today by state law. I'm gonna sell everything except maybe 3 pieces today, and I don't think anybody's gonna want them anyway. Anything that's left over will be offered at another online-only sale in the month of October. It'll be on the website. There ain't gonna be much left. Anybody else have any other questions? Yes?
Under eligibility, I have some properties that are land contract, but they're out of this county.
If they're not Kent County, you can have delinquent property all you want in the rest of the world. You can't have it here.
All right.
Anybody else? Yes?
If the person's in the property that you're buying, you have to evict them?
There are 3 options if you buy an occupied property. There's eviction through district court, and a question we get often about that is, can I start the eviction process right away? And the answer to that is yes, because you're gonna have to serve them. They get 28 days to respond. The process server has to find them, and even after their response time, the court still has to kick the can down the road a little while for appearance date. It's gonna be 2 months before you even get them into court, and by then you will have the deed. Option number 2 is something many people call cash for keys. You approach them and you say, hey, you know, I'm planning on moving in here, I own it, here's my receipt from the auction, let's make a deal, how much money do you need to just box your stuff up and get on out of here? That's not a bad option. It's more expensive than eviction, but it's faster, and you'll get to keep the water heater. The third option is you can just negotiate something. You can rent to them, let them stay a little bit, enter into some new agreement. If you buy something today and it's got somebody in it, they are not squatters. There's no such thing in Michigan law. They're an occupant. They were there when you bought it. You have to go through the legal eviction process or negotiate something. Anybody else have a question? Then let's get going. Let's take your money. I've got 4 pieces that we're going to move to the front, because these are the ones everybody's here for. The first 2 in the book, 3303 and 3304, are 2 of them. Then we're going to go down to the page to 3308, which is on Sand Lake. It's the condemned property at Sand Lake. And then we're going to go down to 3381, which is on Central Avenue in Wyoming. That one's occupied in a pretty good neighborhood in Wyoming. So we're going to sell those 4 pieces first. Then we're going to go back to the beginning of the book, sell what's left in the order that they're listed, skipping the ones that nobody has indicated they have any interest in at all. So we're going to get started with 3303. Kanoa Avenue, Kent City Way. 3303 and 3304 are adjacent. 3303 is vacant property. It does have a large metal barn on it as an improvement. Most of the rest of the improvements that we're aware of are on the piece afterward. I wonder if I shouldn't sell the house first. What do you guys think? Because there are probably people here that wouldn't bid on the land if they didn't get the house, and vice versa. Maybe we should stick with the process. I'm going to open up 3303 first. This is 17 acres with a good-sized metal barn. It's adjacent to the house we're going to sell afterward. Minimum bid that you see in that book is $6,100. I have 10 bids on this property online before the sale opens. They're starting me off at $25,250. We know it's going to go higher than that for 17 acres in that location. How many people do I have in the room that would give me $26,000 for that property? If you would, put your card up in the air and just keep it up there. A couple, 3. Then I guess I'm just going to do it the regular. Well, now I got 5. Here's what we're going to do. If you would give me $26,000 for that property, put your card up in the air right now and keep it there until I say a number that you don't like. This saves a lot of time. 26,000, 27, 28, 29, $30,000, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, $40,000, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, $50,000, 51. I'm going to start with the gentleman back there at $51,000. Think of all the time we just saved not going up $100 at a time. I've got $51,000 back there. That exceeds my advance online bid. I've got $51,000 there. I need $51,250 from anybody else here that wants to bid. $51,250, $51,500. You want to give me 52? 52,000, 51,750. Now 52,000. Now 52 and a quarter. 52 and a quarter, 52 and a half, 52,750. Now 53. How about 53 and a half? 54 and a half. $60,000. How about 60 and a quarter? You can't quit now. You drove all the way down here. I got $60,000 back there. Anybody in the room want to give me $60,250? Anybody anywhere? What about online? Nobody online. I got $60,000 going once. 60 and a quarter, 60 and a half. You want to give me 61? 61 and a half. Now 62 and a half, 63 and a half, 64 and a half, 65 and a half, 67 and a half, 68 and a half, 69 and a half, 70,000. I think I skipped one. 70 and a half, 71 and a half, 72 and a half, 73 and a half, 74 and a half, 75 and a half, 76 and a half, 77 and a half, 78 and a half, 79 and a half, 80,000, 80 and a half. Are you all done? 80 and a quarter. I've got $80,000 over here. $80,000 going once. 80 and a quarter, 80 and a half, 80,750. Now 81. 81 and a quarter, 81 and a half, 81,750, and now 82,000, 82 and a quarter, 82 and a half, 85,000, now 85 and a quarter, 85 and a half. I've got 85 and a quarter with you. 85 and a quarter going once, twice, 85 and a half, 85,750, 86,000, 86 and a quarter, 86 and a half, 86,750. 86,750. I've got 86,500 back there. 86,500 going once, twice, 86,750, 87,000, 87 and a quarter. It doesn't cost anything unless you win. Keep bidding. 87 and a quarter. I've got 87,000 back there, going once, going twice, 87,000. What's the bidder number? 87,185. My backup bidder over here, what's your number? 247. If you need a loan, he's the guy to go see. Now we're going to sell the one adjacent. This is about 10 and a half acres, house with a pool, 3-car attached garage, several outbuildings, generator. We didn't get to go inside this one, at least I didn't get to see the inside of it. Looks to be recently vacated. There's still personal property here. We told you about personal property. If there's stuff on the property like that vehicle sitting there in that bucket, those things still belong to the former owner. You need to give them an opportunity to come and get their stuff. I've got 10 bids online for this one as well. My minimum bid in that book says $37,000. My online bidders already have me at $146,000, and they're going to go higher than that. If you'll give me $150,000 for that property you see right there, put your card up and leave it in the air. 150, 160, 170, 180, 190, $200,000. They both went down at the same time. Who wants to give me 190 again? 190, 191, 192, 193, 194. I've got 193 right there. Who wants to give me 193 and a quarter? Anybody here at 193, 250? What about online?
Yep.
We got one online. Now 193.5, 193, 750.
Yep.
194, 194 and a quarter. 194 in the room.
Yep.
194 and a quarter. You want to jump it up to 195? 195 and a quarter.
Yep.
How about 196? 196 and a quarter.
Yep.
How about 197? 197 and a quarter.
Yep.
198? 198 and a quarter.
Yep.
199. 199 and a quarter.
Yep.
200,000. 200. All done. 199.5. I've got 199 and a quarter online. 199 and a quarter online going once.
Yep.
Now we've got two bidders. This can be like watching paint dry. This probably won't be too bad because we're already at 200,000. They're going to go back and forth. They can only go up $250 at a time. This won't be too bad because we're already halfway to where they're going. We've had several this year, including we had one over in Houghton Lake where we started out at the minimum bid, and the only two bidders I had were both online. $250 at a time, all the way to $350,000. We send everybody outside to smoke, even the people that don't. I'm at 2015. I've got 3 online bidders bidding on this. When they're done, we're going to give them a minute here till they slow way down. We'll let you back in if you want back in. Hard to say how far they'll go. They're in advance of the online high bid that I had prior to the sale. They're not moving real fast. There are 3 of them though, 2 maybe now. We'll give them just a minute. There are 3 online bidders taking turns. Our last first round sale of the year is tomorrow in Kalamazoo. We're north of 205,000 now, and it seems to be picking up speed. Two bidders online. It's approaching 210,000. I don't recognize the bidder usernames, which indicates they're probably local. It's now at 210,000, and they're still bidding like crazy. If anybody wants to jump the bid to 300,000, you just let me know. $215,000. They're still at it, same two bidders. $220,000, and they're not done. Now they're slowing down. We're at 221, 250 right now, and it might have plateaued. Anybody in the room at 221? Nope, they're not done quite yet, but they're thinking about it. Anybody in the room at 222,000? That's what I need to keep on going. I've got 221, 750 with an online bidder. And there it is. They're still moving. When it slows down, it means one of three things. Slow internet, it's hit the limit of what they want to spend, or their wife just came in the room. Honey, what are you doing? Nothing, just surfing. I need 223,000. I'm at 222,750 right now. I think they may be done. Anybody in the room at 223,000? 222,750 going once, going twice. Sold it online for 222,750. My backup bidder is also online. I'll take your number as the backup bidder in case both of their wives find out. 185 is my backup bidder. Now let's jump down to 3308. We'll come back to the others afterward. We're going to sell the four most popular first. 3308 is condemned. Probably nobody would want this except it's on the water, and waterfront makes people stupid. I see it every day. We could sell a used litter box. If it's on the water, they'll go crazy. I've got a $12,250 bid online already. They'll go higher. I know how much higher. You don't. That's the fun part. He's already got his card up. If you'll give me $15,000 for that property, put your card up in the air right now and just keep it there until I say a number you don't like. 15,000, 20,000, 25,000, 30,000, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35,000, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40,000, 41, 42. I'm going to start with you at 42,000. Who wants to give me 42 and a quarter? Anybody in the room at 42,250? That exceeds my advance bid. What about a live online bidder? I've got 42,000 with you right there. Anybody in the room at 42 and a quarter? 42 and a quarter? 42,000 going one. Oh, new bidder. 42 and a quarter, 42 and a half. You want to give me 43? 43 and a half. 44. 43,750 is as low as I can go. I've got 43.5 right there. 43.5 in the front of the room going once. Twice.
43.5.
You bought it. 43.5. What's the bidder number? 43.5, 291. My backup bidder, way in the back row, what's your number? 358. If the winning bidder cannot or will not pay, we contact the backup bidder. We offer them the property for one increment below the final sale price. It's not negotiable. It's yes or no. She just bought it for 43.5. If she cannot or will not pay, we'll call you and offer it to you for 43,250. Now we're going to go down to Central Avenue in Wyoming. It's number 3381 in your book. This one is occupied as last we knew, so we don't have a lot of detail about what's inside. The outside looks to be in pretty good shape. Decent neighborhood. Next door to the church parking lot. Not far to walk on Sunday. If you have 100 relatives over, you got a place for them to all park. You might not like the opening bid. In the book, it says $10,250 is my minimum bid. I've got 5 online bidders. They've got the price already at $70,250. Anybody in the room want to give me 71? Anybody? 71. Who wants to give me 72? 72, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, $80,000, 81, 82, 81 and a quarter. I've got 81,000 with you. Anybody in the room at 81,250? What about online? I've got 81,000 right there in the front of the room. 81 and a quarter in the back. 81 and a half. You want to give me 82 in the back? 82 and a half. 83 and a half. 84 and a half. 85 and a half. 86 and a half. It's only money. I've got 86,000 in the back of the room. Anybody here at 86,250? Anybody else? I've got 86,000 way in the back of the room. Anybody at 86,250? What about online?
Yep.
86,250, 86,5, 86,750. 86.5 in the back of the room, going once.
Yep.
86,750, now 88, 88 and a quarter, or excuse me, 87, 87 and a quarter. 87 in the back of the room, going once, going twice. 87,000 way in the back. That's bidder number, I can barely see that card. Is it 1112? 1112. Because you have a blue bid card, I need to verify that you don't have any delinquent taxes in Kent County, correct? You heard him right there. 87,000, number 1112. The backup bidder is online. Now we're going to go back to the beginning of the book. Sell what's left in the order that they're listed there. We'll skip a couple that nobody's interested in, but that's not going to be many. 3305 is on 21 Mile Road, vacant parcel about 1/3 of an acre in size. $1,500 I've already got bid online for this one. Who wants to give me 16? Anybody in the room here for this one today? $1,500 online, going once.
Yep.
16 online. You want to give me 17? 17 in the back of the room, now 1,800.
Yep.
Now 19, $2,000. 19 in the room, going once. Twice.
Yep.
2,000, now 2,100. 21, now 22.
Yep.
2,300. now 24.
Yep.
2,500, 26. 2,700. I've got 26 online. 26 online going once. 27 in the room, now 2,800. 27 back there, going once. Twice. You bought it 2,700. What's the bidder number? 2,700, 185. My backup bidder is online. We already sold 3308. We'll go down to 3309. Do I have a bidder in the room for 3309 on Oak Street, Sand Lake? Do I have a bidder here for that one today? Property is landlocked. Anybody here for that one? Then we're gonna skip it. On the next page, 3310. This is a grain elevator out Sand Lake Way. Do I have a bidder here for 3310? Anybody here for 3310? I do not have an online bid for it. If nobody wants it, I'm gonna skip it. Anybody here for 3310? Then I guess we're going by that one. Let's go to 3311. Minerva Drive, vacant parcel. I've got a $1,300 bid online. Anybody in the room want to give me 1,400? You guys can't leave yet, you have money left. I've got 14 right there. Now I need 15 online. 15 online, 14 in the room right there going once. Twice. $1,400, what's the bidder number? 1,400, 141. Backup bidder is online. Anything that nobody in the room wants that we have not opened up in the room, we will let the people online open them back up if they want to when we're done, because they would not have had the opportunity to ask. Do I have a bidder in the room for 3313? Right there I do. Let's open it up and take her money today. It's on Phelps Avenue, Sparta Way. Slopes down away from the road. It's behind a guardrail. $600 I've got right there in the room. Anybody want to give me 650? 650, now 700, 750, now 850, 900, 950, $1,000, 1,000, to use at 950, 1,000, 1,000, new bid increment 1,100, 11, I've got the lady on at 1,000. Anybody in the room at 1,100? 1,000 going once, twice, $1,000, what's the bidder number? $1,000, 146. My backup bidder is 141. $3317, vacant parcel and division in Sparta. Do I have a bidder in the room for $3317? I do there. Let's open it up. $3317, vacant parcel, utilities at the road, not far from Camp Lake. $1,100 I've got there. Anybody else at 1,200? 12 here, now 13, 1,400, now 15, 1,600, 17, 1,800. I've got 17 back there. Anybody else in the room at 1,800? What about online? 17 there on the aisle, 18, he's back, now 19, $2,000. 2,000, I've got 1,900 behind you. Now I got a bidder over there at 2,000, 2,100, now 22, 22, now 23, 2,400, 25, 26, 25 on the inside aisle, going once, twice. You bought it 2,500, 104. My backup bidder is 185. Number 3318, Northland Drive, Cedar Springs, almost an acre in size. Do I have bidders here for that one today? Anybody in the room for 3318? Then I guess we're gonna skip that one. You are here for that? 3318. You want me to open that one up? Okay. Anybody here for 3320? I don't think I have anybody here for that one. Anybody here for 3320? 3321 is landlocked, but I have a bidder right there, probably owns something right next door. 3321, 15-mile road northeast. You can't get to it. It's an acre and a half. You can see it on the screen right there. Outdoor bowling by helicopter. I've got $700 bid over there. Anybody in the room want to give me $750? $700 going once, twice. That one's yours. What's the bidder number? $700, 177. Thanks for buying that. On to the next and last page. We're going to start out with 3326. I've got a bid on this one online already. We're going to open it right up. This one also is landlocked, does not have any improved road frontage. Are there easements? There could be. There probably are adjacent property owners that are interested in this one, and they could be somebody bidding online. I've got $4,400 already bid online. This is a little bit over 13 acres in size. No improved road access to it. You should have investigated legal access before bidding if you want to bid. Anybody in the room at 4,500? 45 in the back. Anybody else here at 4,600? 46, 4,700, 48, 49, 5,000. You want to give me 5,500? 51. We'll do it the slow, painful way if you want. I got 5,000 down front. 5,000 in front going once. 51, 52, 53, 54, now 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, $6,000, 61, 62, 63, 63, 64, now 6,500 and 66, 6,700, 68, 69, $7,000, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75. You want to give me 8,000 for that? 8,000. How about 8,500? 9,000? 9,000. 9,500? 10,000. 10 and a half. 11. 11 and a half. 11 and a quarter. 11 and a quarter, 11 and a half. 11,750. 11,750. It's the only piece I got right there today. 11,750. Now 12,000. 12 and a quarter. 12 and a quarter. 12 and a quarter. 12 and a half. 12,750. 12,750. I've got 12 and a quarter. 12 and a half down front. 12,750. I've got 12,500 going once. 12,500 going twice. 12,750. Now 13. 13 and a quarter. 13,000 in the front going once. Twice. 13,000. That's your lucky number. 245. My backup bidder back there, what's her number? The backup bidder is 302. Number 3327 has bids online. 3 Mile Road, Northwest Grand Rapids. About 4/10 of an acre of land. It also is landlocked, does not have any improved road access to it. I've got $850 already bid online. Anybody in the room want to give me 900 for that one? Anybody here that owns something next door? That's probably who that is online. I've got $850 bid online, going once.
Yep.
Another bidder online. I have an advance bid and a live bidder watching that camera right there. I have an idea how far it'll go, but I don't know for sure till we get there. They might be done now. I've got $950 bid online, need $1,000. $950 going once, twice. Sold it online, $950. The backup bidder is also online. Oops. Do I have a bidder in the room for 3329? 3329. It also is landlocked. Anybody here to buy that piece today? Nothing online. We already sold 3381. Down to 3386. I've got 2 bids online for this parcel already. Vacant lot on Poe Avenue, Wyoming, in the Clyde Park Hills sub. Vacant urban lot. I've got $1,600 already bid online. Anybody in the room want to give me $1,700? Any of the neighbors here? 17 there, 18 there, 19, 2,000. I've got $1,900 with you, 2,000 online.
Yep.
21, 22,
Yep.
23, 24,
Yep.
25, 26,
Yep.
27, 28,
Yep.
29, now 3,000.
Yep.
3,100, now 32.
Yep.
33, now 34.
Yep.
35, now 36.
Yep.
You want to give me 4,000 for that lot? 4,000 there, now 41 online, they can only go up $100. What about 4,500? 45 in the room, 46.
Yep.
What about $5,000? 5,000 back there, 51 online. The advance bid is done. We'll see if we get a live bidder. I've got 5,000 with you in the room. 5,000 going once.
Yep.
51 with somebody watching that camera. It's a different bidder. Now 5,200. 52 back there. I've got 51 live online. 51 online going once. Twice.
Yep.
Now we've got 2 live bidders. My advance bid is done. I've got 2 live bidders that were not bidding earlier, both chasing this. I do not recognize the screen names. I think they're probably local. $5,200 online. Anybody in the room at 53? He's already gone. 52 online going once. Twice. $5,200 online. My backup bidders also online. Anybody here today for 3394? 3394 on Kanoa, landlocked. Anybody here for 3408? I don't believe I have anybody here for that one, or 3411. Anybody here for 3411? Nobody wants all the good landlocked stuff. On the next page, do I have a bidder in the room for 3412? 3412, anybody here in the room? Finally, 3415, anybody in the room? 3415 right there, let's open it up. This parcel is also landlocked. Burton Street, about a quarter of an acre of land. I got $700 bid right there. Anybody want to give me $750? What about online? $700 in the room going once.
Yep.
$750, $800, $850, $800 in the room, going once, twice, $800, what's the bidder number? $800, $1054. We're going to give the people online the opportunity to open up the ones that nobody in the room wanted opened up. If you want to watch it or bid against them or do whatever, sit right down front and go ahead.
Can you do 3310? I think I missed it when you said it.
Do we have anybody online that wants 3310 opened up?
We have 5 minutes to figure out what the initial requests are, so I have one for 3318 as of right now.
We're going to open up 3310. I assume there will be online activity for it. 3310, 3rd Street, Sand Lake, former grain elevator property. $19,250. I've got it bid in the front row. Do we have it bid online? $19,250 in the room. Going once. Going twice. 185 is the lucky buyer of that. Thank you for buying that. We're going to give the people online a couple of minutes to let us know what they want us to open up that did not sell. Nobody in the room opened them, they really didn't get a chance to take a shot at them, so we're gonna let them look through what's left, and in a couple minutes, we'll be back. If you wanna, we're not going to announce those bids. If you're interested, come right down front and we'll watch what's going on. Thanks for coming. We'll be in Kalamazoo tomorrow if you wanna come up, down.